I've done the graph.
Okay. So you tell me the coordinates.
So for -3, I got 0.
Yes.
And then -2, I got 0.
Yes.
-1, I got 2.
Yes.
For 0, I got 6.
Yes.
1, I got 12.
Yes.
2, I got 20.
Yes.
And 3, I got 30.
Yes, that's correct. So when you join all of them together, what is the minimum point that you're getting? Or you can see the turning point, the value of turning point.
Shall I say the number?
Yes, like the coordinate of the turning point.
So would it be would it be either -3 or -2?
Like a complete coordinate, like just like this. Suppose your curve is like this. For example, that means this is your most minimum point or the turning point. So whatever be the value of x or y here, that you have to determine the coordinate. Maybe here x should be 1 or y is -1. So maybe it's 1 comma -1, just like coordinate of a turning point.
Okay. -30.
Okay, it's -30. Yeah, it's somehow correct, not exactly, but how somehow, if you can see. Okay, now I've plot this equation. X squared minus x minus y.
This is a new equation.
Yes.
Okay. So am I doing the same thing
Yes,
as
please.
before?
Yes.
Okay. They're all -5.
Like uh, your answer, or like it's x squared minus x minus 5. This is the equation.
Huh?
Equation is x squared minus x minus 5.
Yeah.
So when you put x equals -1, what's the value? Like x
Oh
squared.
wait.
One by one you have to put x equals -3, -2, just like that. That's the way of plotting graph, right? First make a table and then plot the graph. So you have to make a table first.
Oh, I'm doing it on my calculator. I think I forgot to put the x squared.
Okay, okay.
I'll do it again.
Okay.
I plotted the graph.
Okay. So first tell me the values. X and
So
S value.
I
Okay.
so for -3 I got 7.
Yes.
-2 I got 1.
Yes.
-1 I got -3.
Yes.
0 I got -5.
Yes.
1 I got -5.
Yes.
2 I got -3.
Yes.
And then 3 I got 1.
Yes. Now you have plotted the graph. You tell me what is the minimum point that you can see. That's the turning point.
The turning point I got would it be 1 and -5?
It's not exactly 1 minus 5. It's somehow it's 0.5 and minus 5.1. Like you're saying it's 1 and minus 5, right? But a turning point is little shifted. It's like 0.5 comma minus 5.1. So like you're very close to that, but not very much accurate, but somehow you're close to that. So definitely your graph is like this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's point 0.5, it's minus 5 here, and 1 is somewhere here. It's like this. But the turning point is not exactly at 1, it's somewhere here, just before that. This is a minimum point, and here.
Okay.
So that's why it's zero point 0.5 and minus 5.5. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, it's, if we see a graph of quadratic, because we are doing quadratic graphs, so if we see the graph or the curve of quadratic equation, I told you that where that minimum point is what the turning point, where the curve is taking the turn, or the minimum point is what its turning point.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where this curve is cutting x-axis, x-axis is what? The horizontal one. And how many points can you see that this curve is cutting at x-axis? This curve cuts x-axis at which points? At how many points? Like which way that? At how many points?
Mm-hmm.
You tell me. This curve cuts x-axis at how many points?
What do
Simple.
you mean?
Like at how many points, the number of points at which this curve is intersecting at x-axis. Intersecting, which means, suppose, okay, take the example in this graph. This one is your x-axis. Is this clear, right?
Yeah.
And this curve is intersecting x-axis at this point and at this point. Is this clear?
Yeah.
So basically, this curve is intersecting x-axis at two different points. And these 2 points are known as roots of the curve. Is this clear?
Roots what? Roots?
Of the curve, or roots of
Oh,
quadratic.
roots of.
Yes, roots.
Yeah.
So just by looking at the graph, you can calculate the roots of the curve where it's cutting the x-axis, and it should be the two distinct points. If it's cutting at one point, then it has two same values, and if it's cutting at two different points, you get two distinct values or two distinct roots of this given curve. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So now I'm giving you a curve, and you have to calculate the roots. So it's, let me see the curve. Okay, this one. X squared minus x minus 6 equals 0.
Okay. So I'm still using the numbers and
Yes, the same thing. Like first, in order to, if you're plotting the graph for any equation, quadratic, cubic, or any equation, the first thing is you have to make the table, taking the values
okay.
of x and calculate the corresponding values of y.
Yeah. So I plotted the graph.
Yes.
Uh,
Okay. And first tell me what are the roots?
so I got 6.
Yes. Six, like the roots that you're saying?
Yeah. So for -3, I got 6,
Okay, yes.
and then I got 0,
Yes.
-4,
Yes.
-6,
Yes.
-6 again,
Yes.
-4,
Yes.
and 0.
Yes. Okay. Now you tell me once you have plotted this, where this curve is intersecting at x-axis, at which 2 points?
So it's intercepting at -2 and at 3.
Yes, at -2, 0 and 3, 0. That's very correct.
Yeah.
And what is the turning point in this curve?
Um, mm, would it be like 0.5 and
Like tell me the
minus?
minimum point that you can see.
Huh?
The minimum point of this curve that you can see. What is that minimum point?
I, I don't know.
Okay. So like when you have plotted this curve, it's definitely like this. Somehow, suppose it's like right. It's
Yeah.
getting its -2 and it's 3. So the turning
Yeah.
point, like the minimum point that you can see, the minimum point here. This is not exact, but the minimum point that you can see. What is that minimum point I'm asking?
So would the minimum point be here?
Yes.
So it would be 0.5 and -6, somewhere like here.
Yes, yes. So it's somewhere here is a turning point. So actually its
Yeah.
pointer is somehow 0.7, 0.8 and it's around -6 to minus, like you're nearer to the turning point. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Now there is a term that is known as y-intercept.
Mm-hmm.
Y-intercept is where the curve is intersecting at y-axis. Okay, so don't get confused between the roots and y-intercept. Roots is where the curve is cutting at x-axis, and you can see there are two different points where the curve is cutting at x-axis, so that's why there are two different roots. Y-intercept, as the name suggests, y-intercept, so where curve is intersecting at y, that means here at y-axis. Clearly you can see curve is passing or intersecting at y-axis, so whatever will be the distance from 0 to up here, that means this will give you y-intercept. So you tell me in your curve what is the value of y-intercept.
Uh,
You tell me at which point your curve is cutting at y-axis.
it's cutting at -6.
Yes, so your intercept is -6. Clear?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So that's your final answer. So this is a way of calculating y-intercept, roots and the turning point just by looking at the graph. So you know how to plot the graph, you know how to get the roots, y-intercept and turning points. So I'm giving you a last equation and you have to plot the curve and give me all the three values, that is y-intercept, turning point and roots. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let me
But was the root curve where the graph intercepts at the x-axis?
yes.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
this one. It's x squared plus this is it.
Okay. Is it meant to be a straight line or a curve?
It's a curve because it's a quadratic equation, so it
Yeah.
always be a U-shaped parabola.
Yeah, okay. There's only one root on my curve, on my graph.
It's only 1.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's that root? Like if you're getting 1, that means you have to extend the values. Extend the values in the sense, like you have taken -3, right?
Yeah, -3 to 3.
Yes. So that means you have to take -4 as well. So take -4 also.
Okay.
Extra.
Can I start again?
No, it's not necessary, but yeah, it's better if you start once again. Or you can add, like you have already done that, only add -4. That's it.
I finished it.
Okay. So now you have got the roots.
Yeah, I got the root now.
Okay. So tell me first, what are the two roots?
So I got 2 and 4,
Yes.
and then for the y-intercept, I got 8.
Yes, that's correct. And what is the turning point?
Turning point, I got like I think it's like 3.5
Turning point.
and
Yes, yes, yes. Tell me.
-1.
Yeah, -1 is very much correct, and 3.5 not. It's 3. Rather than 3.5, it's 3. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So that's very much correct. So like we have covered all the types of question and quadratic curve. Oh, sorry, quadratic graphs we can say, right? Generally, such questions are being asked. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just continuing the quadratic equations, okay? Like how to solve quadratic equations, how to factorize it, that I'm just continuing with it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So first tell me, do you know how to factorize a quadratic equation? Because if we have to solve quadratic equation not using graph, we were calculating the roots when graph is there, right? Like to see where it's cutting x-axis. But if we are not able to draw the graph, then how it's possible? It's by 3 methods using factorization method. Second, it's completing the square method, and third, it's, I can say, formula method. So I'm starting with the factorization method. So first tell me, do you know how to factorize a quadratic equation?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me.
So for this equation, is it the one on the screen right now?
Yes,
Okay, so you have two brackets.
yes,
In one bracket, it would be x minus 4,
yes,
and then the other one, it would be x minus 2.
yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
And for this x squared minus 3x plus 2 equals 0.
You'd have x minus 1 and then x minus 2.
Yes, that's very correct. So this is how you have to factorize equations. Now if I talk about completing the square method, so do you know how to calculate, like using for completing the square method? You know that method?
I think so.
Okay. So as of now, I'm just starting with formula method. Okay, I'm just giving you a brief info. So what's formula method? Like, do you know what's the formula of calculating quadratic equation?
No, I don't know the formula.
Okay, so let me tell you. A formula is minus b plus minus root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So you first tell me what is the general form of writing a quadratic equation. A general form of writing. At the very beginning of this lecture, I told you what's the general form of writing a quadratic equation. You tell me what's that? Standard form.
What do you mean?
Okay. See, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 is standard form of writing a quadratic equations,
Oh, yeah.
right? So suppose
Mm-hmm.
your equation is x squared plus say 6x
Mm-hmm.
plus 9 equals 0. So if you compare this equation with the standard form, you tell me what is A, what is B, and what is C. With this other, like if you compare it with this equation, whereas A is coefficient of x squared, B is coefficient of x, and C is a constant. You tell me in this equation what's A, what's B, and what's C.
I don't really know.
Okay. So let me just explain you. See, first I'm writing a general or standard form. So ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And if my equation is x squared plus 7x plus 3 equals 0, so a is coefficient of x squared. That means what is the coefficient of x squared here?
A.
In this equation, what number is the coefficient of x squared? Which means with x squared, what number can you see?
Is it 1?
Yes, so a is equals to 1. Now b is coefficient of x. So what is b in this equation?
7.
Yes. And what is c? A constant that you can see here?
3?
Yes. So this is how if you compare with the standard form, you get a equals 1, b equals 7, and c equals 3. Same as in this equation, you have to tell me for this equation what's a, what's b, and what's c.
So A is 1,
Yes.
B is 6, and C is 9.
Yes, that's right. Now you know a, b, and c. You just have to put this value in this formula. So you know that quadratic equations has two roots. X1 is minus b plus root b squared. It's a formula that you have to learn it. Minus 4ac over 2a. And for x2, so you tell me in your syllabus it's mentioned or it's not mentioned?
It is mentioned, yeah. I just can't remember it.
Right. So there's a formula. Okay, for x1, for x2. It's the same. Only difference is for x1 it's positive here, and for x2 it's negative here. That's the only difference between these two formulas.
Okay.
So once you calculated a, b, and c, put the values here. So for x1,
Yeah.
minus b is what? Minus 6 plus root 6 squared minus 4. A is 1 and c is 6 divided by 2 times 1. That means it's minus 6 plus root 36 minus 24 divided by 2. Okay, or okay, it's AC. It's here 9. Sorry, it's 9. It's 36. So 36 minus 36 gives you 0. So it's minus
Yeah.
6 divided by 2. It's minus
Yeah.
3.
Okay.
So that's the value of x1. And same, if you
Mhm.
put that, you will get x2 is equals to minus 3 as well. It's not necessary that always you get the same value. But for this one, the roots are of same value. So x1 and x2 are minus 3 and minus 3. So when you're using formula method, what you have to do, the only thing is it's the most simplest and the most accurate method. You just have to learn the formula x1 and x2, then just take the equation and comparing with the standard form, get a, b, and c. Once you know a, b, and c, put these values in this given equation and get the value of x1 and x2. Now you tell me, is
Yeah.
this method clear?
Yeah. This is. I'll just write the formula down.
Okay.
Um, for when you wrote this here, how
Yes.
come you didn't write minus here?
Actually, plus minus is a whole equation given to you, and when you separate it out, plus is for x1 and minus is for x2. I have just written that separately. Okay, like plus minus, either it's for x1 x2, for x1 comma x2. I have just combined them. Okay, or if you're writing separately, because you have to calculate x1 and x2 separately, so these are the separate formulas. Okay, and don't get confused, simple write x1 and x2 just like that and learn in this form. Okay, you'll get the right answer.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so have you noted down?
Yeah.
Okay, so try to solve few equations. So I'm giving you some equations just for homework. Let you try this one using formula method. Okay,
Mhm.
And the last one is this. So try solving all these 5 equations using formula method. So have you noted it down?
One second.
Or you can take the screenshot of these 5. Okay, you have to try this. That's for homework.
Sorry?
I'm saying like these 5 questions are for homework.
For homework, okay. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so like that's it for today. And
Yeah,
try solving the questions for graph also, like few questions for graph. Like we have done all the types of questions, but try practicing those questions. Okay.
yeah, okay.
Okay then. Thank you.
Thank you, bye.
Bye.